Hello and welcome. Today we're delving into the story of a weapon that, through sheer reliability and ubiquity, became a symbol of American industrial might during World War II, the Browning M2 50 caliber heavy machine gun. This isn't a story of complex technology, but of overwhelming presence. We'll explore how this single weapon system, encountered by German soldiers from the skies over Stuttgart to the hedgerows of Normandy, reshaped the very nature of combat. German commanders, men like Oberst Hans von Luck of the 21st Panzer Division, left detailed accounts of their encounters with the M2 near Schlemm. During the intense fighting after D-Day, von Luck described the sheer volume of American firepower as something entirely new. He wasn't just talking about artillery, he was talking about the constant, terrifying presence of the FT Cal. Every American tank, every half-track, every jeep, and seemingly every infantry position seemed to bristle with these heavy machine guns. This wasn't an accident, it was doctrine. American military strategy was built on a foundation of material superiority. Why rely on intricate tactics when you can dominate the battlefield with overwhelming firepower? The M2 was the perfect tool for this philosophy. It was simple, incredibly reliable, and could be mass-produced on a scale that Germany simply couldn't comprehend, let alone match. The numbers are staggering. American factories churned out nearly 2 million M2 machine guns during the war. Think about that 2 million. Let's put that into a tactical context. A German Panzer commander like Generalleutnant Fritz Bayerlein of the Panzer Lehr division faced a nightmare in Normandy. His elite tanks, formidable in one-on-one combat, were constantly harassed. An American armored column wasn't just a line of tanks. It was a moving fortress of 50 caliber fire. Every vehicle, from the lead Sherman to the supply trucks in the rear, could contribute to a blistering hail of heavy machine gun rounds. Reconnaissance units didn't just observe, they performed reconnaissance by fire, hosing down any potential ambush location with 50 caliber rounds. It was a doctrine of suppression, designed to intimidate and neutralize the enemy before they could even react. The psychological impact was immense. The distinctive heavy thump-thump of the M2 became the soundtrack to the German soldier S-dread on the Western Front. The round itself was devastating. It could shred light vehicles, punch through brick walls, and suppress infantry positions from distances where German machine guns were ineffective. General der Fallschirmtruppe, Alfred Schlemm, defending the Reichswald, noted how American forces used their M2 South to systematically dismantle defensive positions, chewing through fortifications and pinning down his paratroopers with relentless, accurate fire. Now, let's take to the skies. For a Luftwaffe pilot, the American Mar-Deuce was an airborne wall of steel. A formation of B-17 flying fortresses was a porcupine of defensive firepower, with each bomber bristling with up to 13 50 caliber machine guns. German fighter pilots had to fly through a storm of lead that could reach out to an effective range of 1,800 meters. The sheer density of fire from a bomber box was something no other air force could replicate. A single pass could expose a fighter to hundreds of rounds from multiple angles. And it wasn't just the bombers. American fighter planes were armed to the teeth with M2S, the P-47 Thunderbolt, a juggernaut of a fighter bomber, carried 8 of them. In a strafing run, a P-47 could unleash a combined firepower of over 4,000 rounds per minute. Imagine being a German soldier on the ground as that torrent of 50 caliber ammunition rips across your position. It was described not as gunfire, but as a buzzsaw, cutting through everything in its path, trucks, gun emplacements, and personnel. The M2 turned every American fighter into a devastating ground attack weapon. This overwhelming presence was only possible because of one thing: logistics. The American war machine wasn't just about building the guns, it was about supplying them. Billions upon billions of 50 caliber rounds were produced and shipped across the Atlantic. This logistical tale allowed American forces to be incredibly liberal with their ammunition. The concept of ammunition discipline was different. American commanders could afford to saturate areas, suppress suspected enemy locations, and maintain a constant curtain of protective fire around their convoys. For the German army, struggling with fuel and supply shortages, this level of material expenditure was both incomprehensible and deeply demoralizing. The story of the M2 in World War II is a powerful lesson in the nature of industrial warfare. Germany produced some of the most technologically sophisticated weapons of the war, like the Tiger tank and the Me-262 jet fighter. But they were complex, expensive, and produced in limited numbers. America, in contrast, embraced a different philosophy: produce a simple, rugged, and effective weapon, and then build so many of them that the enemy is simply buried under their weight. The M2 Browning wasn't a wonder weapon, but it was a war-winning weapon. It was a tool that perfectly matched a doctrine of overwhelming material strength. The ultimate testament to its design is its longevity. 80 years after its widespread adoption, the Browning M2 is still in service with the US military and forces around the globe. It has served in every major conflict since World War II. This remarkable legacy proves that sometimes the most effective weapon isn't the most advanced, but the most reliable, the most available, and the one that is there when you need it, every single time. It demonstrates that in the crucible of total war, logistical capacity and industrial might can be the most decisive factors of all, triumphing over tactical sophistication alone. The M2 wasn't just a machine gun. It was the embodiment of a nation's will to win. Thank you so much for joining us on this historical journey. If you found this analysis interesting, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more deep dives into military history. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. See you next time.